President Trump has selected JD Vance to be his vice president. Is this a good thing, bad thing? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about President Donald Trump selecting Ohio Republican Senator JD Vance to be his running mate and vice president once Trump gets elected, wins again, takes back the White House, and brings JD Vance with him. Now, this is a really interesting pick. I didn't really see this one coming, but I actually got kind of a hint after the assassination attempt, because right after that, or a few hours later, it was announced that Ohio Governor Mike DeWine added some security to JD Vance's home. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So maybe they knew that he was in there running and he might be the vice president. So they didn't want any kind of Day of the Jackal type situation to go on where somebody goes to try to hit him because he's running with Trump. So they were like, okay, let's just make sure that he's good and have that be that. They probably were tipped off by the feds to do that. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but that's when I figured it'll probably be him. Now, I didn't see it coming before that. I thought it would be Vivek Ramaswamy or maybe a guy like Doug Burgum. Some of you guys said Nikki Haley, and who did you guys? You guys said Nikki Haley and the other lady from the court in Hawaii. You know what I'm talking, Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah. I'm like, them? I don't think so. I think not. But JD Vance makes sense. I'm not really mad at the pick, although he did say some things in the past that were very anti-Trump, talking about he's cultural heroin and he shouldn't be the president, although, of course, now he thinks differently, and he says he was wrong for his comments back in 2016 when he first made them. Now, before I go any further, let's get into the actual news clip here. And, of course, as always, I will link to everything in the description. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
He is the junior senator from Ohio with only 2 years in government, but JD Vance is one of former President Trump's biggest defenders.
I want to help Donald Trump get elected because it's really important that he become the next president.
In the Senate,
how can we defend Ukraine's borders when we're not even defending our own American border?
And on the campaign trail.
So the question is, are we going to send America First fighters to Washington, D.C.?
He's one of the leading voices of Trump's MAGA America First movement, not holding back and pushing the former president's agenda.
Republicans, we need to govern like we won the majority the American people gave us, not like a bunch of cowards.
But that hasn't always been the case. This was Vance in 2016.
Right, I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
He was deeply critical of Trump then, but here's Vance just 6 years later.
The president is right. I wasn't always nice, but the simple fact is he's the best president of my lifetime, and he revealed the corruption in this country like nobody else.
Yeah, so, but before they continue, he did win his race as a pro-Trump guy. He made the apology, turning, and that does happen. Some are going to say he just did that to win in Ohio, and he's just trying to gain power. I mean, you could say that, but it's not uncommon to have somebody that might have been anti-Trump to now be in favor of Trump. And it's not common to have somebody that used to be a Democrat like Trump become a Republican. That does happen.
Running for Senate in 2022 in Ohio as an extremely pro-Trump candidate.
I was wrong about Donald Trump. I didn't think he was going to be a good president, Brett. He was a great president.
Vance shot to fame as the author of Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir about his upbringing in a poor, hard-hit part of Ohio. Now, before they continue about that, I just want to talk about this, the Hillbilly Elegy. So this is about Appalachia and what's happening there. It's a lot going on. I might need to get that book. I've seen excerpts, but I haven't read the whole thing. But I have seen a lot of that coming from West Virginia originally. And he's from Middletown, Ohio, which is like right outside Cincinnati. That's like by Kentucky. So you're not far from West Virginia. Southern Ohio and West Virginia, especially the southern part, are very, very similar. Also, like Appalachia out there, by where they had those floods a while back, that's all kind of like, that could pretty much be its own state by itself. But I digress. He then enlisted in the Marines, went to Yale Law School and to venture capital, and then to the Senate, his first role in government. On the major issues, Vance has said he would support a national ban on abortion after 15 weeks, but is for exceptions, including for rape and the life of the mother. On immigration, Vance has called for finishing Trump's southern border wall. And on the issue of the 2020 presidential election, then Senate candidate Vance suggested he would have supported fraudulent slates of pro-Trump electors.
If I had been vice president, I would have told the states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and so many others that we needed to have multiple slates of electors, and I think the U.S. Congress should have fought over it from there. That is
now the father of two, just 39 years old, after not even a full 2 years in government, is set to step onto the biggest political stage in the world.
Now, this is actually a really big pick because it just mentioned two things. That's pretty much ending the video right there. So let me just go ahead and come back here. There was two things they said there. First, 39 years old, 2 years in government, and he's from Ohio. This could be really, really big for the race. You're talking about the whole Midwest. I mean, Ohio, Michigan, all of that over there, even as far as like, of course, West Virginia, that'd be Trump country, Kentucky, all of that, Cincinnati, Pennsylvania, everything, Indiana, that'll all be Trump country. 100%. Now, of course, you get to Illinois, places like this, you got Chicago, all of that going on. But Wisconsin, yeah, I think they'll go, and having the RNC in Wisconsin makes perfect sense. Genius move. I'm not really sure what the Democrats are having their convention in Chicago. Gangland territory, shoot, shoot, bang, bang, kill, kill. No cops, no law in certain parts of the city, but different story. I digress. The point is that this could be a very strategic pickup, a younger person, because we see all these fossils on television and quite frankly, we're tired of it because I understand people get old and I'm not trying to be this ageist person. I'm not trying to be that at all. It's not even about that. It's about maybe you shouldn't be 78, 85, 90 years old, halfway independent, halfway in the ground, halfway on the wheelchair. Maybe you shouldn't be like that and run government. So having a 39-year-old to pick up where Trump leaves off in 2028 would be perfect. He would be still young, like in his 40s, and his kids would be in the White House. They can be like Obama's kids, Melania and Sasha. They grew up in the White House. It'd be great. Same thing with George W. That's kind of the way it should be, in my opinion. Have a man get in there. Remember, the requirements to be the president, all you got to be 35 years old. That's it. There's nothing. 35 years old, and of course, natural born citizen and 14 years in the country. But as far as your age, 35. So 39, I think, makes a lot of sense. I think it would be a great president if he just kind of takes to Trump's tutelage, perhaps, and learns from him and others in government as well. I think it would be a great president. He was pretty young in 2016. He's my age. So what, in 16, we're like early 30s. you learn, you live and learn. And I think this is definitely a good change away from the establishment. And I want to see more stuff like this all over the USA. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your thoughts on JD Vance? You think he's a rhino? Think it's going to be fake? You think it's going to be a bad vice president, maybe potential president in the future? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I think with tutelage in time, maybe not necessarily right now, but I think he could become a great leader for the country. Maybe in Ohio, he's been good as a senator for the brief period of time he's been there. Maybe he's been that. I don't know. If you guys are out there in Ohio, let me know in the comments what he's done as far as his voting record. But he can do well. I think his heart is in the right place. He can do well, but he's got to have the right people in his ear telling them the proper ways to go, giving them the proper tutelage and mentorship. If he has that, then he'd be good to go. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.